Sammy Beavers, Billy Osmun, Andrea Norcia, and Brian Godown.
Do we have any more stools?
Stay close to the ground. I'll take the shorties up on the feels good to sit down. I want to thank Logan for coming out, joining us tonight. Let's go. See you here. Does anybody have any start up questions for us here?
Yes, the person that you're here for is John Norcia, right? You drove for Mr. Norcia first?
Yeah,
How did that come about? How did you get into that car?
it was an accident.
Might be an accident that led to an accident. I don't know, he's seen something. That was when we had the tri-state. We were all up in
1971 maybe?
we were in Army. And we, I don't know, our father called me, asked me if I wanted to drive. And of course, that was a no-brainer. He said, yeah. I was putting my own car together all the time. And it was history being made. I mean, it's just a great marriage. I mean, we had a really good time. I never had a car that I sat in that would have all four wheels missing, and you come back the next day. And that's when we ran 3 and 4 nights, and that thing would be ready to go again. Pretty amazing.
I know my father told me was that my father and my Uncle Tony had seen Billy run, and at the time, I guess it was a retailer that was driving my father's car, and whatever happened there, I don't really remember, but I know that my father said, you go down, Tony, and talk to Billy Osmun, and so that was how Uncle Tony, right?
Yeah, I guess it might have been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But I think it was Don Stiles that was driving.
because they had a retail and Don Stiles.
I think Don was driving, because Don was also, they were running Wall Stadium.
Right, Wall Stadium, and then.
And then when I got in it, it was all, it was Friday night at Windsor and Wilmington and then back to Windsor.
I think they got right with Wall Stadium, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Was it right?
Yeah, they had formed an
They
association.
won a lot of asphalt races, I knew that, and then they got into a fight.
Right. Tempers.
That racing was good, you could get out and smack them. Look, the stars on Sam for me.
Listen, I would like to present something to the Wilmington side, me and Billy, because it's been in Billy's hotel for years. He has owned a hotel up in New York State, Tug Hill. And me and him would like to donate to this, when you guys get a building or something, if you're going to hang it up. This is Mike Garback. In the background. So we'd like to donate this. And Emmett, right? Emmett owned the 47. And this car had A-frame, well, you're not allowed now because it's technically used. And but I'd like to, me and Billy would like to donate to it, so you guys get a building or something you can put up on the wall, and I just think it's appropriate. Right?
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. Cool.
There's a lot of cars, if you look in here, you see Bob Pickle, you see Brett Hearn, not Brett Hearn, Kenny Brand, a lot of cars, you know, back in the day. There it is.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank him, he's the one that had it, and we did, the deal was when it came out of the hotel, it had to come back to him, and it's been sitting all day. And it actually, they're sitting in a closet for about 3 years now, so it's in the hotel.
Really?
Yeah, so we got home.
But I thought it'd be appropriate that he left Flemington and wrote Flemington a lot of times. And I could tell you some stories of it. He actually demolished that car over a girl, I can't believe it.
Well, you can tell us something.
I can tell you one thing, that smile on his face was always there. That was,
Yeah.
Great
he
guy.
was a great guy.
And then Les Farley in the background almost looks like your brother, for God's sakes. You know, if you take a look on the right hand side with a little mustache and stuff, yeah. So, I hope you enjoy it. You get hung up.
Sam, how did you get the 81? How did you get the ride?
Well, Billy, I'm not sure, but I think you quit or got mad or something like that.
Yeah, we had a disagreement. Not with John, not with Tony, just George, the motor man.
Yeah, the motor man. If I remember, Billy almost won Syracuse with that car, and it started smoking. I already dropped out of the race, and I was standing there watching. And he goes, oh boy, it's just smoking. And then going around, and you could see he was going to win it. And all of a sudden, the smoke stopped. And George went, oh my God, we're done. I said, we're going to be glad that you looked up. He said, no, there's no more oil. And finally, it blew up.
It blew up too, it went all the way down the backstretch in circles.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Not a good feeling when about 30 cars behind you either.
No, that's bad.
That wasn't the part of it though, it's just,
But
it doesn't really matter, it's just, it's a shame it happened because I was young and stupid too. I gotta take just as much of the blame.
it's funny when you're running, you're having a lot of success and stuff. You get a little cocky. I did. I know I have. And you know, you think you're the man on the mountain. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden you'll do something you'll kind of regret afterwards. You know what I mean? But you can't take it back because you just can't say I'm sorry. You know, you just can't do that. You know? So, but after Billy left, my cousin was hanging around with him, and then they got me to try the car out. But I will say one thing about John Norcia. Everything they did there, they built. And I mean everything. The motors, they did their own transmissions, they did everything. The frames, the bodies, the whole show. And it was a learning experience, and I really believe when you build a car like that, you really know what you're feeling when you get on the racetrack. And I know they gave me a lot of different feelings on different things. And he was a great builder. He really was, John.
Well, from the first coupe till you got in it, you didn't get in the first coupe, you got in the second coupe.
Right.
The fact the car was totally different. It just had a single leaf in the front, buggy spring in the front, with parallel springs in the back. And that spring broke, you were done, which it did one time. I remember up in Nazareth, it broke one day, and I forget, somebody said, well, why don't we just weld it back together? And I went, it's not that. I don't think we're ready for this, but it was a neat little car. It really got around the racetrack. I'm sure that might be favorite.
What happened to that first coupe?
Probably still, I don't know, I guess
It's probably buried on property somewhere.
I know for years it was still there.
Yeah, it was
Parts of
there. It rolled
still
around
there.
in the weeds for a while, and they had a barn in the back that had a lot of the old cars in it, and parts of the old cars. And it was interesting when I went out last year and bought that crate car. I didn't tell anybody, and I didn't tell my father or anybody initially. And then, I wasn't having a lot of success with it. And so I went home and I said, Dad, how do you make this car faster? And he's like, what are you talking about? And I said, well, I bought this crate car. And he said, oh, dear God, you lost your mind. He said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I bought this car and blah, blah, blah. And it was something that I loved. It was something that I look back on with such fond memories. It was something we did as a family. It was always a lot of fun. And I'm at a spot now where I just wanted something for me, something that So he said, all right, let me take a look. So he came out, he looked at it, and he said, honey, change the vision. So he was like, that was his first advice. And then he went over, and I said, well, everybody's telling me this, and they're telling me that. And he said, you know what? He said, don't listen to what everybody's telling me. He said, I can make a 2x4 handle. He said, like, this will be fine. And so he said, you know, come home, and took me out back, and he opened up like a tractor trailer body. And it was just like, here I was like, I need this, I need that, I need all these things. And he opened it up, and it was like, ta-da! It was like the promised land. Everything was in it. I was like, oh my goodness. And he's like, yeah, just take what you need. And it was awesome. I mean, he still has so much stuff there, you know, from all the old cars, the Coupes, the Gremlins, even that old Pinto. I think that was the one I disliked the most, was that Pinto. I never liked that car. No, that was it, yeah, I didn't like that one. But, yeah, parts of all of them. So I'm sure that somewhere amongst the stuff is that Coupe.
I think that first coupe that Billy drove was Roger Moreno's first car.
They did give Roger a car.
I think that was that car.
They gave Roger a car. Roger was out there, and he was, he wanted to get started, and he was looking at all kinds of stuff, and then finally my father said to Roger, you know, like, just, you know, here you go, get started. So he did give Roger Moreno his first car.
Did Charlie Voorhees get something too?
He helped Charlie a lot, but Charlie actually built all his own stuff. You know, he helped Charlie, but Charlie and his brother built all their own stuff.
If the car was anywhere around, you could always identify that one. It had a real story behind it. We went to Lebanon Valley one night and got out there and got warm-ups, and I came in and I said to her father, I said, there's something wrong. I don't know what's wrong, but there's something wrong. What do you mean there's something wrong? And we were going around there. I said, I don't know, I don't feel comfortable. So he said, well, and he thought about the whole thing. He says, well, let's take the cushion out of the seat. He said, maybe you can't see something. So I went back out. It was a little bit better, but it wised me up to thinking about what it was. And here, when you get in the banks of Lebanon Valley, and you go through the bank, I couldn't see out the left side to look down the straightaway so I could see out in front of me. So I came in and I said, it's better, but I said, we still got a problem. He says, what is it? I said, we need a hole in the roof right here. And they took and cut it like a shamrock. And they cut that hole in there. And it's hard to believe, but that was all we needed. We didn't even need a wedge bolt. Jeez, we just needed a hole in the roof. Remember that? Was it still there?
Oh, yeah.
It was
You had to
there.
do that because you couldn't see out. It was such a bang, you couldn't, all you seen was the roof.
I always thought it looked like a kidney bean.
I made it sound better.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was actually, your father was very creative. I never forget when we put the traveling arm in underneath what they call pick arms nowadays. He said, well, he said, we should get a little rear wrap. I said, yeah. So he goes out and he gets the trailer bar off the trailer. You know, the trailer, the bars all up. We put that thing in there, and boy, it did traction. Well, all hell broke loose when we hit the brakes. Because the trailer arm went the other way. Man, the wheels come off the ground and everything else. I thought the family jewels were going. The whole deal was going out, but it's your car. I don't know that your car, but when I got married 4 years ago, I borrowed that car. And it's not the same car, but it looked basically the same.
Outside looks the same.
Right, but it had your name on it. And here I am, I say, Billy Osmun at my wedding, something's wrong here. But at the end, it turned out pretty good because my son said, we should put the car away before we get drinking or something. So I said, yeah, you do it. Well, he never knew what the handbrake was all about. He got out and put reversing back into a brand new Cadillac. Came the side all in. I said, well, Rick, I said, you made the day.
That was before drinking too.
That was before drinking. Yeah, that was a nice deal.
A question for Brian. What are your plans for this car, and have you been out in it yet, or?
No, we're in the midst of finishing it up. You know, me and Andrea kind of put the deal together a little late.
So we had issues, when she brought the old car over, the first thing I told her we need to do is make sure I fit in it. You know, I'm a little taller than probably the average guy. I don't know if I weigh more than the average guy, I probably do. But I know on my big nails when I used to run them, the first car I actually ran when I started Bridgeport, my, you know, before they even came out with the 3-inch rule to the roof, I bought an old Tobias from actually Stan, my uncle. His son was going to run it. He had it in the garage, so I approached him and asked him if he was going to get rid of it. And I think the reason why he was getting rid of it because he didn't fit in it, but he never said nothing to me. So I remember going down there running rookies, and my helmet actually used to rub the roof. But you know, I didn't know there was no, I don't think any laws other than winter. I think you had to be, they checked something in there, brakes, state law. So I remember running it, and it, like I said, it really wasn't an issue, but I, you know, imagine if you rolled, it could have been. So she brought the car over, I got in it, and it just wasn't, I mean, no matter which way, the seat was already down, I think, 2 or 3 inches. The bar, they had moved it down, and I still didn't fit in it. So at that point, you don't want to move the seat down anymore, because like I said, the pick arms are right there, and like I said, so I approached her, I said, Andrea, you know, we haven't made a problem, kind of. I said, I don't really fit in the frame. You know, what do you want to do? I said, if you want, you could have somebody else drive it. I said, that's, you know, that's fine. And she, you know, she came to me and she stuck, you know, by her word, and she said, you know, I want you to be the driver. I said, you know, so I got a lot of respect for Andrea for asking me, first of all, and sticking with me. So, you know, she went ahead and talked to some people, and, you know, like her father said, I think Andrea likes to listen to what other people say, which is good. And I know when I was racing, it's good, but like I said, your head starts to spin. You know, there's so many chassis builders out there, and certain ways to set cars up. And when I had my race cars, I failed a lot before I started to, you know, you hope that somebody comes along and gives you some advice. But if you don't learn the car first, and these guys will tell you, I mean, you can't just get in them and drive them. I mean, you know, maybe if some guys comes from Troy to set your car up, or Bicknell or something, you can, but if you don't learn the shocks and the way everything works, you know, it's not going to work. So I got the car rolling. We finally got the body put on. The motor is in the, you know, we're working on putting that in now, so we got to plumb it. It's just been, you know, I have a landscape business, so the time I get home, I'm exhausted, especially with the weather. Everybody knows it's been
It was just
horrendous.
the most inopportune time for me when I made my decision to, you know, hand it over to Brian. It was, we were coming out of the winter. And so, you know, then once he sat in it, the timing was just not right. Like, you know, we knew at that point, you know, when I decided I was going to go ahead and get the whole new car, and, you know, we're just going to go forward from there, that timing-wise, it was going to hurt us. So we've kind of struggled with that at this point. I mean, you know, everybody's done the best that they can, but it's just been a struggle because it was his busiest time, and he's got 2 children, and I've got a child, and, you know, like, between everybody's stuff that we have going on, none of us do it for a living. We all have other things that we do. So it would have been nice, you know, how I made the decision in the fall, and we had all winter to work on it, but that wasn't the way it worked out.
I told Andrea the easiest thing she could do is if she wants to call up Tio, put one together, but they're getting 25 grand to put, you know, a car rolling. So obviously, you know, neither of us want to spend that kind of money. She had a car, so I told her, I said, the easiest thing to do is get another frame, and we'll swap the parts over. So we started to do that, and then we ran into, you know, you got to go through everything with a big block, you know. So then we had problems with the bladder. The bladder was old, it was outdated. So, you know, it's been kind of a learning curve for Andrea. I mean, it's easy to go out there and buy everything new, but, you know, I don't think she wants to do it. And like I said, I've done it already. That's probably one of the main reasons I got out of it. Like I said, it just costs so much. I don't know. Like I said, tires are $200 a piece. Rims are $250. You know, you hit the wall on one side, you know, you're out $1,000 before you even put it in the trailer and check the rest of the stuff. So, you know, we want to make sure that we do it right, and when it's out there, we don't want to have something fall off and hit the wall or something stupid.
So that car you had up at Motorsports is no longer? That's completely gone?
Well, you know what? It's going to look the same.
No, that's a completely different car now?
It'll look the same, but it's a whole new car.
The same body.
Just whole new frame, yeah? Wow.
Yeah, the frame is definitely
Yeah.
you know,
Wow.
bigger, so it definitely accommodates me well.
Yeah, it's a 2012 TO, tall cage, back, double kicked outside, so I made it with room for him to expand.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. She knows her stuff.
Cars
Yeah.
got different frames, it's called high cage and low cage, and the high cage, if you notice cars, like Billy Patrick, and they got taller doors. So that's because the cage is higher and they get more air, you know, and
Yeah, if you notice Billy, as tall as he is, really doesn't need a tall cage, but
Right.
if you could look, you know, from where his head is, you know, to the top of the cage, pretty much the way the cars roll at the track, they're just using them because they work better. you
Yeah, I
know?
think the rule, like Johnny knows the rule, I think it's 15 inches, so if you got a cage as high as this thing here, you can put the door up to 15 inches, you know what I mean? So Billy, all you see is his helmet going around, you know what I mean?
I know at Syracuse, if you roll your car through there, they got a box, like a cardboard box, and if it doesn't fit one side to the other, get the scissors out, start chopping, but I don't know, like I said, what New Egypt, you know, their rules are. I think they measure from the ground, so it's coming together. Like I said, we're in,
We're on the home stretch.
yeah.
Good.
So
I'm impressed.
Ted, question. What was it like driving that all-set body Cadillac, taking you back a few years?
Well, I'm glad you said that. You're the first guy ever said an all-set body, because everybody thought everything else was all set and the body was right. But all we did is took off one side of the car. And because everybody thinks the motor was set to one side. But then we took off one wing and we called it the corn picker. And that's what we had. But it was, that was a Buckley chassis. That's when Buckley was, Buck Buckley was running the sprint cars. He was real fast in the USAC. And that was a Buckley car, but we could never get it close to absolutely perfect. Because we just always something was going wrong. And that was actually to the chassis. I think I was running second, and Pouch was running first in the 200. And I passed him with 25 to go. As soon as I passed him, the valve spring broke. And I tried to nurse it, but meanwhile, his tires were starting to come back because I really slowed down. So his tires were back, and then he got me back. That was a Buckley chassis. That was that car, but I think I had the full body on for that.